People that work in the wedding industry, have you ever seen a couple and immediately thought this ends in divorce? Why? All the effing time. You know how they say 50% of weddings end in divorce? I can pretty much predetermine who that 50% are going to be with about 98% accuracy. I bake wedding cakes for a living. I own my own bakery, but I've also worked in a country club kitchen, doing basically the same thing plus other pastry chef duties day of weddings. I've seen them both for the tasting/design consultation, and on their wedding day. I see how they interact when they're just together, but also when under stress of the big day. I've seen everything. Lots of cheating, lots of drunks, lots of terrible mothers. Once had a mama's boy who ignored his wife when they were supposed to be having their cake tasting to cuddle their mother and hand feed her cake. His mother was not supposed to be there, and you could tell the bride was pissed. By the end of it he had kissed his mother on the lips multiple times. Divorce. Have seen a woman bitch and complain at everything her fiancé said. Any suggestions he had for what he liked resulted in him being called stupid. Any time she'd open her mouth he'd cower and flinch. Their cake actually got cancelled like a month before the wedding, so we didn't get anything but the deposit even though we'd started baking it. First time I've lost out on money and I've been relieved. Once had this arrogant dickhead Turkish guy marrying into this Bangladeshi family. Bride was sweet, about 10 years older than him, and came from a fairly well-off family. Generally got the impression that this being a Turk/South Asian marriage was kind of a big deal, even though they're both Muslim. But since she was 30-something they wanted her to get married so they allowed it. Guy complains about everything during the planning process, especially over them not serving alcohol. Is generally a dick to us, but is just straight up cruel to her. Like at one point when we were meeting I asked after her wedding dress, because South Asian wedding dresses are gorgeous. She's showing me this amazing dress and he says straight up I don't know what she picked that one, she looks fat and old in it. Every other woman is going to be more beautiful than her wedding day. He then shows me this dress he picked out, which isn't traditional South Asian style at all, and is very Western and very fugly and basically makes the model in the picture look naked. It's so sheer. When she says something about how no mosque would let her in dress like that and her traditions are important, he just sneered and said she should get over it and her traditions weren't that important. Divorce red flag. Found out later they didn't last a day. From the way the servers tell it, midway through the reception, guy raises his hand to his new bride when she asked him a question about being drunk and she flinched and turned away, protecting her face. He grabs her by the arm and rips her around, pissed. Her mother and aunt were standing 3 feet from her and lost their effing minds, realizing what must have been happening there. His response when mom started to lose her shit on him was to hit the mother. So in the middle of this very big, 600+ person Bangladeshi wedding, this 20-something outsider dickhead no one wanted her to marry anyway smacked a well-respected woman in their community. There was a brawl, the cops were called, marriage was annulled.